I don't think you realize what is happening around you right now. Okay? Like, genuinely, I don't think you understand how many things are being rearranged behind the scenes for you at this exact moment. And I know that sounds dramatic, but babe, this energy is dramatic. It feels like the universe is standing in the middle of your life with both hands out like, wait, not that path, not that person, not that door, this one. And the card that came through first is the Sun, but it's reversed. And I want to be very clear, I'm not using this as fortune telling, okay? I'm using this as symbolism. And symbolically, the Sun reversed feels like hidden happiness. Delayed warmth, a blessing that exists, but it hasn't fully turned its face toward you yet. That's the message. Your soulmate is not absent. Your soulmate is not imaginary. Your soulmate is not lost in some faraway place where the universe forgot about you. No. I'm literally seeing this image right now of sunlight sitting behind a curtain. Like the room is still dim, so you're thinking, nothing is happening. Nobody is coming. Maybe I made it all up, but the whole time, the light is already there. It just hasn't broken through the fabric yet. And this is so specific. But some of you have been feeling love before you even have proof of love. You'll be doing something so random. Washing a cup, sitting in your car, fixing your bed, cleaning a corner of your room for the 3rd time this week. And suddenly this feeling comes over you like someone is close. Not physically close maybe, not yet. But energetically, babe. Energetically, yes. And that's why this is not a coincidence. The dreams are not a coincidence. The repeated numbers are not a coincidence. That random wave of nostalgia for a person you haven't met yet, which sounds insane. But I know somebody understands exactly what I mean, is not a coincidence. The Sun reversed is telling me your joy is still hidden from your physical eyes, but your soul already knows. Your soul already feels the warmth coming. And that's why lately you've been craving softness. You don't want chaos anymore. You don't want guessing games. You don't want someone who makes you feel like you have to audition for love. You want peace. And the universe heard that. I don't mean it in this vague, fluffy way. I mean something in your energy shifted so clearly that life had no choice but to respond. Because when you finally stopped asking for someone exciting and started asking for someone safe, that changed everything. Babe, listen, that changed the whole direction. And now we have the King of Pentacles here. And again, I'm not saying this as fortune-telling. I'm using it as symbolism. And symbolically, this is stable love, grounded love, a love that does not need to keep you confused in order to feel powerful. This is someone who knows how to sit still. Someone whose energy feels like, I'm here, I'm not playing, I'm not making you chase me around the room just to prove you care. And that is why certain things have started feeling different around you. People you used to crave suddenly don't hit the same. Conversations that used to pull you in now feel kind of empty. That person who used to make your heart jump every time their name popped up, now something in you is like, wait, why was I calling that love when it felt like anxiety? Come on, somebody knows. This is why the universe is not just sending your soulmate toward you. It is clearing the floor first. Because a King of Pentacles kind of energy cannot enter a room full of emotional chaos and be received properly. Not because they're too good. No, because you are too sacred to keep meeting stability while you're still trying to negotiate with instability. So the sudden distance? Protection. The plans that fell apart? Redirection. The person who stopped texting the way they used to. Babe, that might have been the curtain moving. The Sun reversed said the happiness was hidden. The King of Pentacles says the happiness has structure. It has roots. It has weight. It is not some spark that burns bright for 3 days and then leaves you sitting there checking your phone like you lost your mind. No, this feels different. This feels like the universe saying, I heard you when you said you wanted peace, so I'm going to remove anything that would make you betray that request. And I need you to understand how loving that actually is. Because sometimes the universe does not answer you by adding. Sometimes it answers you by subtracting. And that's the part that can hurt. Because some doors had to close, not because you were rejected, but because your soulmate could not find you standing in the wrong doorway. And now look at this. The Two of Pentacles came out reversed. And again, symbolism, not fortune-telling. But symbolically, babe, this is someone dropping the juggling act. This is the universe saying, no more back and forth. No more almost. No more maybe. No more trying to balance a connection that keeps making you feel like you're the only one holding the whole thing together. Because I think for some of you, the confusion wasn't even loud at first. It was subtle. It was that weird feeling after a conversation where you're like, why do I feel smaller right now? It was making excuses for someone's inconsistency. It was telling yourself, maybe they're busy. Maybe they're scared. Maybe I asked for too much. When deep down your body was already whispering, this does not feel like peace. And that's why certain things had to stop. Not because you were being punished. Not because you failed some spiritual test. Not because love looked at you and said, no, not you. No, listen to me. Some things stopped because they were stretching you too thin. Some doors closed because behind those doors, you would have kept performing. You would have kept adjusting your needs to fit inside someone else's emotional availability. You would have kept saying, it's fine, when it was not fine. And the universe heard you say you wanted peace, so it could not keep letting you negotiate with confusion and call it destiny. That plan that fell apart at the last second. That delay that made you cry because you thought, why can't anything just work out for me? That person who suddenly got distant right when you were starting to open your heart. Babe, I know it hurt, but the Two of Pentacles reversed is giving me this image of something finally dropping out of your hands. Like you were trying to hold too many emotional plates at once and the universe stepped in and said, put it down. You cannot receive something steady while both of your hands are full of something unstable. And this is where the redirection gets so specific. Because silence is not always abandonment. Sometimes silence is a blocked road. Sometimes silence is the universe, placing a sign in the middle of your path that says, detour. Not because you are lost, but because this route delays the person who is actually trying to meet you. And I need you to feel that. The door did not close to leave you alone in the hallway. The door closed because another hallway is opening. And babe, you are not the only one being moved right now. Your soulmate is being redirected too. And look at what came out for that. The Seven of Cups. And I know, this card can look like so many options. So many possibilities, so many little shiny things floating in the air, right? But symbolically, for this part of the message, this feels like your soulmate standing in front of a whole sky full of distractions and realizing, none of this is it. That is what I'm feeling. They may not have the language for it. They may not be sitting there saying, oh, my soulmate is being guided toward me. No. They might just feel restless. They might feel like their usual routine suddenly feels too small. They might be around people they used to enjoy and still feel oddly disconnected. They might be looking at choices that used to excite them and thinking, why does this not feel good anymore? Because their soul is starting to reject the cups that are not aligned. Babe, do you understand how specific that is? This is not just you being pulled away from confusion. This is them being pulled away from illusion too. The Seven of Cups gives me this image of someone staring at all these different doors, all these different possibilities, and every single one is loud. Every single one is glittering. Every single one is trying to get their attention. But there is one quiet door off to the side that doesn't scream. It just feels right. That's the one. And maybe that is why they have been feeling this strange dissatisfaction with their life. Maybe they are ending cycles. Maybe they are losing interest in casual distractions. Maybe they are suddenly thinking about moving, changing their schedule, going somewhere new, saying no to something they would have said yes to before, and they don't even fully know why. They just know something is not fitting anymore. It is like you and this person are being moved through separate hallways toward the same room. You can't see them yet. They can't see you yet. But both of you keep getting redirected. Both of you keep being nudged away from the wrong doors. Both of you keep feeling this inner pull like, there has to be something more honest than this. Because this connection is not just about romance. It is about alignment. It is about two people finally becoming available for the kind of love they used to only imagine when everything else went quiet. And that is why the signs around you have been getting louder. And now the Emperor is here. And again, not fortune-telling, symbolism. But symbolically, the Emperor is giving structure to all those signs. It is like the universe is saying, this is not random noise. This is not your mind making up stories because you're lonely. There is order underneath what feels chaotic. Because some of you have been noticing things and then immediately talking yourself out of them. You see 11. 11. Then you're like, okay, whatever. Everybody sees that. You hear a song that says the exact thing you were just feeling, and you're like, no, that's just a coincidence. You have a dream about someone whose face you can't fully see. But the feeling is so familiar that you wake up almost grieving them, and then you spend the whole morning like, why am I emotional over somebody I don't even know? Babe, stay with me. The Emperor is saying your signs are not meant to make you spiral. They are not meant to make you obsess. They are not meant to have you checking every license plate, every clock, every profile, every little thing like you. You're trying to crack some secret code before bedtime. No, that's anxiety trying to turn guidance into a job. The signs are meant to steady you. They are meant to remind your nervous system. Something is moving even when you cannot see it yet. They are meant to bring you back into your body when your mind starts running toward fear. Because there is a difference between searching for proof because you don't trust anything, and recognizing a little warmth because your soul already knows the light is behind the curtain. And I know that sounds wild, but stay with me. That sudden wave of emotion while you're driving, that might not be sadness. That might be recognition. That random nostalgia for a kind of love you haven't physically held yet. That might be your heart remembering a feeling before your life has caught up to it. That dream where the person feels close, but the details are blurry. The Emperor says there is form coming to what has only been a feeling. There is shape coming. There is grounding coming. And that is why the signs often get louder, right when you're about to give up. Because your human self is like, I'm tired. I don't want to believe in something I can't touch. And your soul is like, wait. Don't close down right before the door starts opening. But there is a reason it has not fully arrived yet. And now the Three of Swords is here. But it came through reversed. And babe, that is so important. Because symbolically, the Three of Swords reversed is not the wound happening. It is the wound being pulled out. It is the part after the heartbreak where your heart is not fully open yet, but it is not bleeding the same way anymore. It is that strange space where you're healing, but you don't always feel healed. You're better, but you're still tender. You're no longer begging someone to stay, but there are still moments where your body remembers what it felt like to be abandoned. And that is why the connection has not fully stepped into the room yet. Not because your soulmate is missing. Not because the universe forgot. Not because you did something wrong. No, listen. The curtain is still there because the room is being prepared. Because if this love had arrived while you were still chasing, you might have confused peace for boredom. If this love had arrived while you were still over-explaining yourself, you might have tried to earn something that was already being offered freely. If this love had arrived while you were still accepting crumbs, you might not have recognized a full table when it was placed in front of you. And I need you to really hear that. Some of you are not being delayed, you're being restored. There is a difference. The Three of Swords reversed says, "We are not bringing you the kind of love that touches the bruise and calls it chemistry. We are not doing that anymore. We are not calling panic passion. We are not calling inconsistency mystery. We are not calling emotional hunger a soulmate bond just because it keeps you awake at night. Babe, you have outgrown so much. You may not even realize it because growth is quiet sometimes. Growth looks like not sending the paragraph. Growth looks like letting someone misunderstand you because explaining yourself to someone committed to not hearing you is exhausting. Growth looks like feeling the urge to shrink so you can be chosen, and then choosing not to. That is huge, and the universe sees that. So this preparation is not punishment, it is protection. It is the universe softly rearranging your heart, so when stable love comes in, you don't run from it, sabotage it, test it, or mistake it for something too simple to be real. But right before that shift happens, something usually tries to pull you backward, and look what comes through for that. The Six of Pentacles reversed, and babe, this is exactly the kind of energy I'm talking about, because symbolically, the Six of Pentacles reversed is an uneven exchange. It is giving too much and getting too little. It is pouring into someone, and then sitting there hoping they notice the cup in your hand is empty. It is that old pattern where you convince yourself, maybe if I'm more patient, maybe if I'm more understanding, maybe if I just don't need so much, then they'll finally show up correctly. No. Listen to me. This is the part where the universe checks whether you still think love has to be earned through overgiving. Because right before peaceful love comes in, old chaos sometimes knocks. And it does not always look like chaos at first. Sometimes it looks like a text from someone who used to confuse you. Sometimes it looks like an apology that sounds good but has no actual change behind it. Sometimes it looks like loneliness getting loud at midnight and trying to convince you that familiar pain is better than unfamiliar peace. And I need you to be so gentle with yourself here, because this is not about being perfect. This is not about never missing anyone. This is not about pretending you're healed every second of the day. No. The question is not, will you never feel tempted again? The question is, will you choose peace when chaos knocks again? Because not every return is reconciliation. Not every message is a sign. Not every spark is the sun. Some sparks are just old wires flickering in a house you already moved out of. And the Six of Pentacles reversed says, do not give your whole heart to someone who is only offering you spare change emotionally. Do not reopen the door just because someone tapped on it. Do not confuse access with alignment. Do not let someone's sudden attention make you forget how abandoned you felt when they had you. Babe, please. The Sun reversed said the happiness is hidden, not missing. So you do not have to run backward just because you cannot see forward clearly yet. You do not have to trade the soulmate that is being guided toward you for the old pattern that knows exactly how to find your weak spot. This is protective energy. The universe is not testing you to hurt you. It is showing you, look how far you've come. Look how different your body feels when something is not balanced. Look how quickly your spirit recognizes what used to take you months to admit. And once you can feel the difference between being chosen and being used as a source of comfort, everything changes. Because the real soulmate energy, babe, it is not going to feel like this. And now the King of Wands comes through. And again, symbolism, not fortune-telling. But symbolically, this is someone with presence, someone with direction. Someone who does not need to create confusion just to feel wanted. And that is so important because I think some of you have been trained to think intensity means destiny. Like if it makes your stomach drop, if it makes you check your phone every 3 minutes, if it makes you reread a message 12 times, trying to figure out what they meant by one period at the end of a sentence, you think, oh my God, this must be powerful. But babe, sometimes that is not power. Sometimes that is your nervous system screaming. The real soulmate energy is not going to make you feel like you have to become a detective to be loved. It is not going to make you sit there, decoding every little shift in tone. It is not going to make you feel like one day you're chosen, and the next day you're being emotionally left outside in the cold. No. This King of Wands energy feels warm, but not chaotic, confident, but not controlling, passionate, but not reckless. It feels like someone who knows what they want enough that they don't need to keep you guessing. And I need you to let that be different. Because when you are used to chaos, peace can feel suspicious at first. You might meet someone steady and think, why am I not spiraling? Why am I not obsessing? Why does this feel almost too calm? Babe, that might be the point. That might be what love feels like when it is not attached to fear. False intensity makes you perform. Real warmth lets you breathe. False intensity makes you question your worth. Real warmth reminds you that you never had to audition in the first place. False intensity pulls you out of yourself. Real soulmate energy brings you back home to yourself. And that is why the sun reversed matters so much here. If the sun was upright, maybe this joy would be obvious, loud, immediate, right in your face. But reversed, the warmth comes in quietly first. It shows up as a softer body, a calmer mind, a conversation where you don't feel like you're being tested, a person whose energy does not demand that you abandon yourself just to stay connected. You are learning how to recognize love without chaos. And once you recognize it, babe, that hidden sunlight starts doing something very interesting. It starts breaking through. And now the Ten of Wands came out reversed. Babe, do you see how clear this is? Because symbolically, the Ten of Wands reversed is the moment something heavy finally drops. It is the body unclenching. It is the breath you did not realize you were holding. It is walking into a room and realizing, wait, I don't have to carry all of this anymore. And that is what happens when the sun reversed starts to turn. It does not always begin with some huge dramatic entrance. It does not always look like somebody running through the rain with a confession, okay? Sometimes it starts so quietly that you almost miss it. A plan suddenly becomes easier. A conversation flows without you forcing it. Somebody shows up with consistency, and your spirit does not feel the need to brace for impact. That is light on the floor. That is the curtain thinning. That is the locked door making that tiny little click before it opens. And I need you to understand the universe has been coordinating details you could not see. While you were sitting there thinking nothing was happening, things were being moved. Timelines were being softened. Pressure was being lifted. Old burdens were being taken out of your hands because you cannot walk into a peaceful connection still carrying every disappointment like it is your job to prove you survived it. The Ten of Wands reversed says, put it down now. Put down the fear that love always has to exhaust you. Put down the belief that if you are not struggling, it is not real. Put down the idea that you have to arrive at this connection already perfect, already healed, already glowing, already completely untouched by your past. No, babe. You are allowed to arrive human, and so are they. That is why this soulmate energy may come in strangely natural. Not forced, not theatrical, not like lightning striking the house and everything catching fire. It may feel more like a path bending without you pushing it. Like someone being in the right place at the right time. Like an invitation you almost say no to, but something in your chest says, wait, go. And there it is again, that feeling. Someone is close. The weight is lifting because you are not meant to meet this love in survival mode. You are meant to meet it with open hands. And babe, before we close this, there is one thing your soul needs to remember right now. And the Fool is the card we are closing with. Babe, that is not an accident. And again, symbolism. Not fortune-telling. But symbolically, the Fool is the moment right before the leap. It is standing at the edge of something new, with your heart still a little nervous, but your soul somehow calm. It is not having every answer, not seeing the whole staircase, not knowing exactly how this person gets to you, but feeling this quiet little truth inside like, I am not meant to go backward anymore. That is what your soul needs to remember. You do not need to chase what is being guided. You do not need to panic because the light has not fully crossed the room yet. You do not need to prove that you are lovable to someone who is actually meant to recognize you. The sun reversed started this whole message by showing hidden happiness. A blessing behind the curtain. Warmth that existed before your physical life could confirm it. And now the Fool is saying, when the curtain opens, don't meet the new beginning with the old fear. Because this is where you choose peace again. Not once, again and again. When your mind wants to spiral, you choose peace. When the old doorway calls your name, you choose peace. When you feel the urge to audition, explain, overgive, shrink, chase, or turn love into something you have to earn, you pause and you remember, no, I asked for something softer. I asked for something honest. I asked for something that feels like home. And babe, the universe heard that. This is no coincidence. The signs were not random. The delays were not empty. The endings were not just endings. The silence was not always abandonment. Some of it was redirection. Some of it was protection. Some of it was life turning you away from the road that would have kept you tired and toward the path where your soul could finally breathe. And your soulmate? They are being moved too. Maybe slowly, maybe quietly. Maybe through their own detours, their own realizations, their own moment of looking at the wrong cups and saying, none of this is it. But something is moving. So notice what has been showing up for you. Notice the dreams. Notice the numbers. Notice the sudden calm where there used to be panic. Notice the way your body is starting to reject what your heart used to beg for. And if this message found you, maybe that is part of it too. Claim it if it resonates, but more than anything, let it settle. The light is not gone. The curtain is thinning. And babe, I really do feel like the sun is closer than you think.